Welcome back to Made Up of Wires, where we are decompiling Rebel Assault 2 for the PlayStation. One of the greatest FMV games ever made. Just kidding, we are decompiling Castlevania Symphony of the Night, as always. Primarily the US PS1 version, but occasionally the PSP version as well. So grab your copy of Symphony of the Night, your favorite Linux distribution, or Ubuntu, whatever you want. And let's get going. We've been working on Doppelganger 10 and 40, and we're going to keep doing that today. I did finish off a function that I was unable to finish on Thursday. I had to kind of go suddenly on Thursday, but I did finish that off screen. Still kind of have something in my throat from a cold. I haven't gotten a bad cold in a very long time, and so it's not going the best. So let's go down to 10 and 40 and see what is going on there. I did make I did some small imports of data, and I'll go over those. I have one more to do for Doppelganger 40. I did Doppelganger 10 over the weekend, and so I'll show you that as well. Importing the data is not something that we've done lately, but is important to do in addition to all the code. I like focusing on code on the stream. I think logically we can work through problems a little better, but the data is just as important. So let's look at let's look at the function from last week first. And let me try to remind myself what was going on here. So there was some ordering issues that were a problem. And then variables. That ended up being the biggest issue. There was this last prim variable. And it's there were several times where I was using prim instead of last prim. And I ended up coming across some other functions and working out those variables. And then that got me to a match, which is great. And this was not exactly a match on the PSP. There still are some variable issues, and these are a little tougher to solve. So registers A1, A2, and V1, V0, those are often used as temporary or ephemeral values. I call them ephemeral because they're things that are in the middle of some expression. So we don't see the value of I plus 0. We don't see the value of that mod 16. Those aren't values that we ever capture in a variable, but the computer has to store those somewhere. And so it chooses registers that it would like to use for those. We don't control that in any way. We may be able to control it with certain tweaks. And actually there's one right here that I am going to give a try to, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second here. So we have to do different tricks, and that could be using different variables. It could be variable ordering or declaration, or it could be something like this that I'm going to try. Let's find 167 over here. Instead of doing a greater than or equals, doing a greater than, and making this greater than FF. Sometimes things like that. And it did. Look at that. That is bonkers. 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 No, it didn't do anything. Never mind. Oh, yeah, it did. So changing this from a greater than equals to an equals totally fixed up several register usages. I will go with that over here. It's not going to change anything on the PlayStation side. It's only affecting the PSP. Let's see if we can find anything else like that, because that is fantastic. I'm going to clear my throat a few more times. Apologies for that. Here's another one. Greater than equal. We're going to change that to greater than 8. And that did wonders as well. I do have this, and that actually might have solved it. No, there's one more that we'll need to find. Come on. I know you're here somewhere. Not quite. So we have the S5 and S6 registers are swapped. Let's see if we can tell which variables those are. And from there, maybe we can finish this out. I was hoping that it was pause X and pause Y. It's not. So I'm looking over here. Hey, Blue Candy. Good to have you. Let's see. So we're looking for registers S6 and S7. Somehow they are backwards. And so maybe swapping a variable declaration is enough. Hey, Dig Down Deep, good to have you back. So it's right around here. This it's not this angle variable though. It is move X and possibly move Y. And these are the offsets are backwards as well. So that fixes the offsets, but not the registers. So I'm going to do something. S5 here is broken as well. I'm going to do the stupid thing, which is to change the order of these. And that fixed it. So that was it. There was just some backwards. So this is, I believe, completely matching on PSP now. So let's copy this back, make sure it works on the PlayStation. I already had integrated this, but I think that I will fix this as well. So, doing okay, Blue Candy. How about yourself? This was indoors, I believe. Indoors, not outdoors. I think I should just be able to replace this implementation. I have not checked this in. I do think this, and it does work. There might be some other things that I fixed in here, like sound effects, though. Yeah, so let's do that, and then I'll show you the data stuff as well. Oh, maybe I didn't fix this. So we need a new sound effect macro. I'll show you some data stuff next. It should build fine. I do have to get this working on Doppelganger 40 as well, but we can do that in a second. I think rebuild, I don't know what. Oh, I changed that header file. Yeah, and that header file, it's included by everything. So everything needs to be rebuilt. That's nice about the Ninja build. So overlays, stage overlays and boss overlays all start with some overlay structure. And the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The first 11 fields are identical for every overlay. Doppelganger 10 and 40 are the first overlays to have these 2 additional fields. And then there are things like the Maria boss. Not Maria. Who has it? Let's try Sen. No, Sen doesn't have it either. Who has... These actually have additional fields, you just don't see them. because they're not specified. Who has a full overlay? Warp does, but I don't think Warp has a cutscene. Usually it's for stages that have a cutscene. Let's try ST0. Yeah. So this has an additional field where there is a cutscene. I don't even know what a jib is. That's something that an adult should know. Is that a type of shoe? That's something people on the internet should know? I don't know. So the graphite bed allows you to move faster, right? Yeah, you said you bought yourself 3 jibs. Oh. Yeah, getting older, you gotta worry about those joints. That seems like the Father's Day. I bought crab legs for Father's Day. That was my being spoiled, and they were excellent. Oh my goodness, they were excellent. Oh, interesting. And yeah, because of the basically it has no plasticity, right? So it'll stay flat. And does carbon fiber transfer heat? Or do you have to turn the heat up for that then? That's crazy. I can't believe that there's that much variation in a steel plate. Excuse me. I'm assuming you're using steel, maybe aluminum or I guess aluminum probably is more likely. Holy cow. Well then. All right, so I'm going to keep going instead of thinking about 3D printers, though I do like them. So we had a new type of overlay for Doppelganger. Doppelganger 10 and 40. There's a few other things that do this. What I want to do is look at Cell. Cell has its own unique header as well. I'm going to grab that from its Splat config. Project Oblivion and I are having a cordial disagreement about what that header looks like. And I've only looked at the binary for it. So what I want to do is I want to put the field names here. I like doing that with C-structs. It's a more modern feature, but we're using a more modern compiler, but the old assembler. So what I'd like to do is put the field names here and see how these line up. Actually, I can't do that. So this one is 3C in size. I really thought that there was something additional here. or different in some way. Oh, that was it. Cell does not specify all the fields. And so some of the things that you normally would find are not there. Some of these we should be able to OVL export as well. So it uses handle title screen instead of hit detection. There's no rooms. It does have sprite banks and color lookup tables. No objects are there, so no layout, no horizontal. Need to fix this. I missed that. Where am I? So it does use some of the, it does use the long form, but yeah, the fields are not quite the same. So update stage entities. These are sprite sheets. There's 4 sprite sheets that are optional, and then the cutscene function. So this probably is the opening cutscene, I'm assuming, before ST0. Maybe not. Maybe not. All right, so I wanted to look at that, and it looks like Project Oblivion was correct. There's just additional data there that is not present. So let's get this function working for Doppelganger 40, and then we'll move on to something else. Grab the duplicates. I think there's about 5 globals that we need to map. So this is 4210. And let's grab that function. Right, so there's 4 globals that I will need to find. I do need to grab the right function name, which I always forget to do. So this is going to fail. We don't have these globals. And I still don't have a optimal way of doing this. So I think what I'll do is I'll open I'm gonna open the assembly for VO4. This is gonna be non-matching doors. And that function was this 774 function. I don't want to split there. I want to open a new tab. And then I'm going to do the same thing for RBO5. And Vim has a scroll bind function. Let's see if this works. So this is going to be set SCB. Now when I scroll, oh, no. There we go. When I scroll one, it will scroll both. And so I should be able to find which variables I need to replace. So I'm going to start with this 5EC. On the side. So 5EC is going to be the same as this other guy here. So we'll copy him. Ooh. Oh no, this is BO4. Okay. Oh, do I not have RBO5 open? Why do I not have RBO5 open? Source boss RBO5. No, filters. And we're going to 210. So let's try this again. We want. Oh, this is used. Drat. Not ideal. Okay, so this, unfortunately, this, there is a symbol with the same name. So I need to be careful because I can't just replace all the symbols in this file. So I have to do this somewhat surgically. I can do it within a visual selection. I'll do that. All right, so that one's done. Okay, next one, 104. These next ones should be pretty easy. Why is this? Oh. Oh, drat, I went the wrong way? No. I think I'm okay. So small problem. These are not identical. I thought that they were. They're not. Drat. Okay, so I was hoping to not have to go back to decomp.me for this, but I'm going to have to, so that's fine. So let's start a new scratch, and we'll do it that way. Not a huge deal, just a little bit more work. So we're going to create a new scratch. I'm going to keep this other one open. PlayStation using the Symphony of the Night preset. We know that this is going to be a entity update function, so I'll put the signature in. Give us a little hope at a better decomp. For the most part, so in the BO4 version of this, we know we're 60 edits away, which is pretty clean for a function of this size. So I'm just going to obliterate all of this. Start with the doppelganger 10 version of the function. And we'll figure out what the edits are that are necessary. I do need, from the context, I do need these variable declarations. And I'll since I need them in the source anyway, I'm just going to put them here. I do need this EID, which will be available in a header file. So I will put that in the context. And G interactable I will need as well, and that will be defined elsewhere. So I'll put, not in the middle of an enum. There. All right, so 97%. So yeah, we are not quite there. We need to figure out where the difference is. It could be big, could be small. We'll see. So somewhere around line 49, there is some additional code that happens after. Oh, this is not the way it should be. There's some additional code here that is happening that seems to be missing. Let's look at the decomp from M2C and see what that might be. So we're in case 2 here. This all looks fine. This is doing the go to block 29 trick. Oh, there might be something else there that is missing. So let's go there and see what block 29 is. No, it's just just setting the step. So it's incrementing the step and then returning. Okay, so there's some mystery code gen happening here on 140. It may actually be related to something different. Let's try this. Let's move this. No. So it is the increment being loaded there. So for some reason, this increment is not being optimized to share this code up here. And I don't know why yet. We'll have to see. 91, we have some extra code, and that's this step increment. So something is causing what was shared code elsewhere to be different. And when we figure that out, all of this should kind of fall into place. It looks like it's probably this. I don't see a call to play a sound effect. And so that was most of it. The rest of it probably is variables, honestly. Globals. So I think we should, yeah, that was it. There's just an additional play sound effects call that didn't exist for Doppelganger 40. That wasn't Doppelganger 10. So one little thing like that can really change how code is generated. Code that was shared before it now is not shared. So I'm going to go through and replace these variables, which then hopefully is enough to get us back down to 60 edits. And that should match when we compile it with everything else. So it's 5EC is the last one. So we way down at the bottom. Is that? No, that's not it. Oh, we're going to be less than 60 edits. 50 edits. That's even better. Okay, even gooder. That's even gooder. So this should be fine. One small change. Quite a difference. And I never like creating scratches when I don't have to, but in this case, it would have been better. So that works too. So that's the RBO5 version of that function. And that's done. So let's find what is next. I'm going to look at BO4. And again, we need to decide, are we going to go from the top, go from the bottom? Control bat form might be interesting. There's one more function left in doors. Oh no, that was the function we did. So nothing left in doors. So these are all things related that probably have analogs for different things with Alucard. Control bat form. Let me see if I've started that one. I can't remember. So some people have been working on it on the PSP for the DRA version. I can't get a better search than that. Let's try going to the dashboard and searching here. Is this going to give me a better search? Maybe those are the only three. Okay, so we have this one does look like the best, Slimy Cattles. These are all worked on about 6 months ago. So my guess is that these are relatively close to the PSP version. So there is a bunch of work going on to get DRA to compile both on PSP and PlayStation 1. It's done for PlayStation 1. So should we start there? Probably. And we'll see how close this is. One more thing I want to look at is if this shows up on dupes as being close at all. It doesn't. So it's not within 90% of the original. I guess as it's closer than it is further. We'll see. These are kind of hard to judge beforehand. I think a few weeks ago I said that it was a terrible idea to do this, and then about 5 minutes later, everything matched. So we'll see. We'll see. So this is the Doppelganger 10 control bat form function. So Doppelganger can turn into the bat. This is the function for controlling that. I am going to take Alucard's version of this. I do want to see if this is compiled for the PSP. So if 71830 is in the splat config, it is. So this is working on the PSP, so I'm going to take source DRA 71830. So I am going to take this version. I'm going to take it from the repo instead of, oh, I can't go to the end. With the macros, I can't figure out where the end of this function is. I'm going to take this version because it's known to be compiling and matching on PSP. And use this as the base. We'll get the variable declarations from the other scratches. There are going to be a bunch of variables that we'll need to declare. They'll have duplicate variables in the Doppelganger 10 address space. Okay, so we have... Oh, pose has been renamed again? Really? Let's look at 68. What is this field called now? It's called pose here. So this is wrong. Let me go grab type declaration here. It's an animation framework. One thing that's a little tricky, I feel like, when working with others in a group, not everybody has the same philosophy for how they want to define things. So 71%, we have a bunch of code, it looks like, primarily that just doesn't exist in the version that we're targeting, that we'll have to get rid of, and I think that's fine. We'll do a few cleanup things and then keep going. So first, anything that is player dot is going to be doppelganger dot. And that won't change much in terms of the match, but we know that's going to happen. And then anything that is G player will be GDOP. There will be a bunch of things that are part of the API that I don't know yet. We get a function, a name for a function, which is nice. This is interesting. Very different functions. Cast spell, learn spell are not part of the original. It looks like the pressing cross check might not be there either. So I don't know what the best way to go about this is. So what I'm going to do, I guess, is pull out code when it looks like it's not necessary. And maybe flip back and forth between this version and the decomp and see when I need to do keep something or get rid of something. A lot of this looks like it's just going away. Let's try to get rid of all of it and see if there's stuff missing afterwards. There is. My guess is at least one of these create ent from excuse me, create ent from entity factories is being called, but maybe not. Let's check M2C and see what it thinks. So yeah, it looks like none of this code down here is existing, so we'll get rid of all that. Great. So then we have the switch. We don't have a wing smash counter. I do need to fix the symbol. I'm going to do that right now. Rot Z or Rot Z was changed to rotate. That one. There's one other thing that I'm going to do while I'm here. Some of these others were changed too, but I'm not going to change those at the moment. While I'm here in the symbol table, I am going to go back and find this function that was called and didn't have a name. Which one is it? I think it was bat form finished. Nope. Check wing smash input. Let's go grab that. So we know that that is this address here. So we'll have to see if that one is already decompiled. What did I do? Oh, it would help if I told it what to search for. Yes, this has been. So it's in the same 46E7C file, which is good. Means we don't have to update a lot of references elsewhere. Source boss. Unknown. Unknown. This one. So let's find this 820C function. And we will rename it check wing smash. So this function will exist in RBO5 as well. So we may as well fix that while we're there. It is the function immediately before control bat form. And it's in about the same place. This guy here. And this is check wing smash input. All right. These look truthy and falsy to me. So let's go with that. All right, so continuing on. as things go along, there's going to be little differences, big differences, and we just have to be careful to figure out where those are. So the first thing, there is several additional things being set. Oh, they're all being set in line, which is fine. I think that's reasonable. Checking entity 16 for entity ID 22. That could be a little nicer, but I'm not too worried about it. And then there's a check for another value. These are all going to be fields within an entity ID. And let's see if any of these match what else is there. So we don't have anything like that. And to find these, we're going to have to figure out what entity it is and then what the offset into that entity each of these addresses is. We get some hint here. So this is going to be at 76 EBE. We know that we're checking the entity ID. This may be 64 plus 16. I'm going to assume that it is, but I'm not positive. So this field that we're checking is at C4. That's 6 bytes after entity ID. So that makes this a little easier. We can go into, I'm going to make sure that I didn't screw up my symbols at all. I might even rebuild everything. What did I change? Unfortunately, this is not. Oh, I changed US symbols. That's right. Okay, so everything does need to be rebuilt. When you change something at that level, that's why it's good to declare your variables locally when you can. So let's look at game.h, and we're going to look at entity. And we want the entity ID, and we're looking at what is 6 bytes away, and it looks like the step. Because this PFN entity update is going to be entity ID is 2 bytes, and then this is 4 bytes. Yes. So the step. So we're checking here, looking at this code here. If G entities 64 plus 16 step equals 5, and use parentheses because this is not a modern language. If G entities, this is likely a switch, G entities, but we'll write it out first and then switch it around. It's less than 3 using parentheses. Then this other rando value, the step gets set to 3. What would that be? Oh, not equal to 5. Then the step gets set to 3. And this other rando value gets set to 0. We don't know what it is. It might be part of like the GDOP struct. Actually, no, we do know what it is. It's this 46 here. So this gets set to 0. So we should see around line 48, hopefully something a little closer. Yeah, so all this is matching now, so that's good. Then we have some code that doesn't match. We have an else here. Let's look at B92. I'm going to divide that by BC, and that is 16. So we're destroying the entity. Yeah, so I was right. This is 16 away. So taking a reference to that. We have a macro for this 64. It's like stage entity start, I think. Entity start. Yes, stage entity start. Isn't that what I typed? And doppelganger is at the stage entity start position. Okay, and then we're going to go to block 27. Block 27, my guess is that this is just repeated. So I'm not going to do this. This is another field. Let's see if we have this up here. Is this the B6 field? It's not. So this is another field that's going to be somewhere in the entity, but I don't know exactly where. This is weird. Set doppelganger animation is set to C3, but then it's called again. That can't be optimized out. So what I think is happening is maybe these are inverted and it falls down into that, but no, it doesn't. I'm not sure. It's possible this code is duplicated. Let's look at the assembly and see here what is happening. So 55 is where we are. Set doppelganger animation. Then we're jumping to 274. But ours is jumping to 2B8. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm going to come back and fix that though. 324. I am going to go way down there. So it looks like Doppelganger is unable to shoot a fireball. And likewise, he doesn't need code for finishing up the fireball. So I think all this can go away. And that gets us much closer. And then he doesn't screech. Oh, he doesn't screech. That's too bad. Sorry, Doppy. No screeching. I do think this was a good plan. The play sound effects function needs to be done through G API. And it looks like this other function does as well. Another bat screech that doesn't happen. We could make him screech. This whole section needs to go away. $158. So it appears that this check is done, but we're not decelerating. So let's see. We definitely don't need any of that screech related stuff. Oh, was that all? Okay. Oh, because this code is shared then. Okay. And up on 93. We're not setting unknown 5A, which, as the name implies, is unknown. I did want to see if we have invincibility frames. Okay, so here, okay, here we possibly aren't setting. Nope. The ordering of this argument is different, but it looks like it may be because of this new entity. And it's happening through GAPI. This function call doesn't look like it. So we need to figure out. I think that this is all, oops, I think this is all just gone. Let's check. Yeah. All right, and then a bunch of this looks like it's gone as well. And I think we're done, mostly. Variables, globals are going to need to change. So how much of this goes away? This function call goes away. I think everything except for the unknown 5A. And even the unknown 5A. So there is, this jump is going to different places. So we do need to figure that out. It's going to AA4. My guess is AA4 is the end. So this is going to return. And no, it's not. This is going to return. Okay, so I think this is it. Let's fix up these variables. That was much easier than I thought it was going to be. Let's look up here. So bat screech done is not a thing. Is the button counter? It is not a thing. And the smash timer, is that a thing? So we do have the smash timer. We're going to have to figure out where that is. We will be able to get the address in just a second. Check wing smash input. We've already fixed that. That will work. So the address for the wing smash timer is here. So we'll add a symbol for that. I'll go do that now while I'm thinking about it. What do I want? I want config symbols US oboe4. And we'll throw that right down at the bottom. All right, so I think all of the other symbols are fine. G entities, I'm gonna assume that we have the right entity, but we'll figure that out with bossdiff if it doesn't work out. Okay, so here online, excuse me. On line 80, the animation set is going to be anim set OVL. And it's not going to be D. Looks like it's going to be 2. On 89. So it's good to go through some of these. And this is going to be L OVL 200. So I'm looking for any immediate value differences, not so much symbol differences. Immediates being constant numbers, hex or otherwise. Why they don't put a hex marker on these jumps that are addresses. There might be a legitimate reason not to, but I guess the markings on the side here don't have the hex marker, which would be just noise. Almost there. I'm getting impatient. I'm getting excited. Any moment now. Yeah. And so this, again, shows that Doppelganger and Alucard are almost identical. So this is control bat form. I hope this works. We're compiling in the project, so we are missing a reference to this AFD4. Let's find that. Yeah, so we didn't find that one on line 75. Those are easy to miss. It's this value instead. And we can do a find and replace over here. Would have caught that. And let's try again. So not matching. I'm hoping it's small things. Not RB05, B04. Ooh, not a small thing. So it is a big thing. Let's go to the top and see if we could figure out where the first issues arise. So we're missing what? 12 bytes. So it seems like maybe there's jump table issues. Let's see if object diff can help us. I don't think it's going to. So what I want to see in this diff, are there are all of the jump table? Oh, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Are all the jump table entries where I expect them to be? And it could be that there is an additional jump table that is missing. And so the way we find jump table entries, let me find one and then I'll show you. We should have one around line 43. There should be RO data. Why don't I see the RO data in there? Now let's double check the assembly. There is no jump table. Oh. Interesting. Okay, so let's see. Excuse me. Let's see what might be going on. I'm going to revert this. And I'm going to find reference to 3D40. That's why you only change one thing at a time and then rebuild. So G Wing Smash Timer. It seems like something is referencing the old name for that, and usually it's code. But I got rid of all of the code that I thought would be referencing it. But I did that and then got rid of the function as well, so the assembly didn't get regenerated. So that's fine. So now we're regenerating the assembly, and that should work. Okay, so that is in place. So I'm going to try it one more time and assume that I just did something dumb. There legitimately may be, I mean, let's try it one more time and then we'll see. I don't think that this is going to be a... No. Okay, so things that could go wrong that are worth looking at. We should look at the data at each of these, see what 3AO and 13DO is, and where these might... why they might be getting an error as well. It looks like there's some propagation issue. Usually when you change the size of a function, it will shift other things back and forth. That makes this process a little bit hard, because there will be a bunch of noise in here then about every reference to every other function gets shifted, and so we need to shift everything enough to align those better. I'm going to use vbindiff, and we'll see if that works. Maybe it will help me find what might be going on here. What I really need to do is... So there is a way to basically re-extract this assembly, and then I can do a diff on the assembly. I haven't used those tools. When I've looked at them in the past, it seemed non-obvious, but I will try that if this doesn't work. So I'm going to use vbindiff. We're looking at disks US. So this is just the file structure for the disk. It's going to be in bo4 bin. That's the file we're targeting. And the one we're building is in build US. It'll be bo4.bin. Unable to open. Did I use autocomplete? No, I did not. Oh, because it's not US. Or not ST, it's boss. All right. And so I want to go. This will do a reasonable job of keeping things aligned until they go out of alignment. So I'm not worried about all of these individual little things. Actually, I should jump down to a particular address, and the address I want to go to is the address of this function. So let's do that. I'm going to open a split here. Boss, RBO, BO4. Non-matchings. Unknown 4-6, and then full bad form. That is at 48224. So G 48224. All right. So now we're at the function. Nothing before this function has shifted, so we're relatively safe there. The first thing that we see is exactly the first piece of this. Looks like stack offsets, maybe. What's the... Go over here. So where is this value 3.8 coming from? Will object diff give us the binary for the instruction? No, it doesn't. Too bad. So we have a 3.8 versus 7C. I'm not sure where what that is in reference to. Possibly this. There's not really anything on the stack though. There. Oh, maybe I found it. I don't know why it's not showing up in M2 or in decomp.me though. The screech done is not necessary. That would be 4 bytes, but I think we're 12 off. That seems odd. Okay. We're seeing a little bit more here around 4905, and then things start to get really bad at 9054. So what may be happening, and I'm hoping that this is the case, there is additional padding that's happening here at 49054. So I'm going to open up the, we'll create a new tab here. What I'm hoping is that this is padding that shows that there's a file split here. 48CDC is the end of this function. So we need to go back up 48. DC. No, that's not that. So this is the end of our function here. We're getting a new, or some additional padding, it looks like, here at 49054. Let me look at what that is and what function that ends up coming from. It's going to be in matchings. It's part of this F3C function. So this seems unrelated. Is it not even in here? So this must be mapped to something else. And that something else, unfortunately, is mapped. So what we do know about that other function is it has the text error step in it. So it's this function here. My guess is control mist form, that this may be split at a different file. Let's look at include ASM, what is left here. Sometimes this will happen when you're mucking with, usually it's with RO data though. And this is not in the RO data. And are there any references to control bad form? There aren't. So this is curious. I'm going to go to DRA and look at the structure there and see if things like control mist and other things like that are there. Yeah, control mist is here. And the function with error step is in there too. Oh, it's control mist form. So these are together. I'm not sure what's happening. So we do have this function decompiled, but currently we're blocked from it compiling. It's possible it's related to this redeclaration. This is an odd I'm not sure why that works. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure why that works. Bonus form. Oh, this. Okay, so this is possibly the issue. I changed the declaration of this global, so we're breaking this this function. So let's look for animation frame. So I set the duration there, and let's fix this other. That was nice to find. Just a coincidence. All right, let's try that. No, I was hoping that was it. It's on side 16. Oh, this might not be B0E. It might be something else. I'm not sure. My guess is that this is actually reading something within this structure, and we want the address that's at C. So let's try that. Yeah, we want this address instead. So everything that's BOE needs to change. And we're setting this to pose. Still not helping. Possibly making things worse. I do think though that is correct. So I'm gonna revert as much of this as I can and try to so we're gonna get rid of that. I do need that other address though. So this is an animation frame array. You know that now. Let's change one thing at a time. I do want that though. Okay, so that works. So this we're gonna say is an animation frame array. Okay, that works. And now we need to find any references to. Oops, oh, what did I do now? This is always going to be accessed through C, and this is going to be pose. So what did I create? So this doesn't. This bad form finish does not like this. Because it's being loaded as assigned instead of unsigned. So I'm going to do it, and then I can use the LOH to cast. Still not working. Oh. Screwing up. Let's try this again. It could just be me screwing things up. Okay, that one works. That one doesn't. So let's try, yeah, wrapping this in LOH. It still doesn't work. So let's try this. Take a reference to BOC. We're going to cast that reference as a signed 16 array. And then we're going to access element 1. Does that work? That still doesn't work. So why? Why doesn't that work? We don't need a reference to it. We can just... That works. So what if this was not an animation frame array, but just an animation frame? What the heck? There's nothing that should prevent this from happening. Or from compiling to the same thing, but for some reason it's not. I would have to go back through and probably take this back into decomp.me and try to figure out there. So what we did learn, though, is this BOE should not be a variable. It should be BOC. That should be our animation frame. So let's try again with that. And unfortunately, if that doesn't work, I have other time commitments, and so come back later and try it. Oh, good. So this mostly worked. We have one small issue. We have an 81 instead of 82 at 8440. Let's see if we can figure that out in decomp.me. 8440, I think, is right away at the beginning. So it looks like it's just something that I missed, possibly like one of these constants. But I don't see it. So okay, let's grab that assembly then. I'm glad we worked out the other thing. That makes me happy. So we're gonna look at non-matchings, unknown, control bat form, and we want, no, it wasn't at the beginning. I was wrong. 48440. 4840. Somewhere around set doppelganger animation. This makes sense. Which one? We're looking for CA. It's down here on line 7-8. Excuse me. And yeah, it's this here. should be 820. This is the palette. It's going to be PAL OVL and 2OD. That's it. That's a much simpler one. Let's go back over here. I'm just going to make that change manually. We want 820D. What we're looking for, 810D was the original. This should match. Okay, so we have one issue. I'm going to make a comment around that so I can come back later and see if I can fix it. So we're looking at this. I'm going to try one other thing. We'll see if this works. Skeptical. Let's look at when pose is being set. What order is this happening in? So it is set the animation, then set the pose, then set the palette. Okay, that's all I wanted to check, if that is typically the order that's happening. Usually those things all go together. Okay. All right, one more time. Yeah, it's still not working. That's odd. That's odd. It does work that way. So we have control bat form done, which is a nice big one. Control bat form has 3 globals. We have to figure out where Wing Smash Timer is in Doppelganger 40, but that's the only difference between the two, these 3 globals that need to be mapped. And then that will match in Doppelganger 40 as well. I'm pretty sure those were identical. Yes, they're at 100%, so those should match just fine. So I'm going to count that as another 2 done. Let's see what is remaining. We have 2 of these done, the 774 and now control bat form. So six remaining. I do think Entity Miss and Doppelganger Blink White, those are going to be the longest. I think a similar strategy will work there, though. 318. Let's see if any of these we can find immediate similarities to their Alucard counterparts. Unfortunately not. So these others, we'll have to do some searching to figure out if they are Alucard functions or not, but then we should be able to see. So we've been decompiling Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Appreciate Entropy Gravity Well, Dig Down Deep, Blue Candy. Thank you all for chatting. As always, go to soten.z.dev to learn more about the project. Not to get anybody super excited, and it's, as far as I can tell, a normal human could not take this. And there's lots of caveats and lots of things to do. This is the PlayStation version of Symphony of the Night with the PSP Maria. So that is huge. There are, like I said, last I checked, this didn't have, oh, it has been, a makefile's been added. So this is closer than last night when I checked. So Zyynamo has got the PSP Maria in the PlayStation version of Symphony of the Night, which is amazing. This is, I think, one of the reasons that we do decomp. This isn't something that would be easy to do with ROM hacks. This does need source to be able to do, but hopefully we'll get it there soon. Incredible. Join us in Discord. I'm sure there's conversations about it. I haven't been spending too much time there because of all the cotton in my head. But I will catch you all later. Thanks for joining, and we'll be back tomorrow with more. Adios.